How difficult was it to become a eunuch in ancient times? You think it was as simple as a single cut. During the entire procedure, not only was a tube inserted into the urethra, but the wound was also smeared with pig sliver, even after enduring suctement. The survival rate for men after the surgery was only 60%. You are a child from a poor family in ancient times, at the age of 14. After mestri see your hometown, and your family support you can even put food on the table, to keep out from starving. Your father has no choice but to send you away, to become a eunuch. The night before you leave, your mother's lips shall for cold, hard piece of flatbread into your arms. Tears streaming down her facetious murmurs, "Me child." Staying Galavice what matters most. You fight back tears. Your nails digging so hard into your palms they nearly draw blood. Just before the castration, you are locked in a dark, damp room, left without food or water, starved, for 5 full days. All to prevent you from soiling the wound with uncontrolled waste. On the day of the operation, you a drag to your feet. They swiftly to you to a wooden board. Before you can even beg for mercy, the knife handler forces your mouth open, and pours down a bowl of strong liquor mixed with mandrake. The liquor burns all the way down your throat, making Yarius water with pain. Just as after struggle, someone else splashed hot pepper water onto your lower body, claiming it saw disinfection. In your day state, use a thick knife handler holding a small blade, repeatedly heating it over a candle flame. Thea Jeglin scoldly under the firelight. You know that after this cut, you will no longer bore Holman, but there, snottening back no. Your parents, tear shave sealed your fate. There, snoring for regret. Although thick knife handler is steady, the moment the blade touches the base of your thigh, you can fell but shudder. Then, with a sharp slice, searing pain erupts from your lower abdomen, so intense it feels like your organs are twisting together. You nearly butter through your own tongue, before you can then recover from the agony. Tech knife handler does something that pushes obeying endurance. Hind inserts a long, thin wheat straw, directly into your urethra, claiming it will help with urination. But the sensation is like a rubbing salt into the wound, even worse than being cut by the blade. Afterward, they apply a pasta made from pig sliver to the wound, claiming it stops bleeding, and promotes healing. The pain makes you moan uncontrollably. You, re-afraid that if you let go, you won. Tiamakate, you collapse to the ground like Elim Prague. The knife handler coldly informs you, if you can still earn at a normal life to 3 days, you will have survived this life and death ordeal. Your heart sinks at his words. You, terrified you might lose your life without even knowing why. However, on the second night after the surgery, you start feeling cold all over, your teeth chattering uncontrollably. But soon after, your body burns as if on fire, the wound itching with a piercing, relentless pain. Every movement feels like being stabbed by countless needles, and pus keeps oozing out. You drift in and out of delirium, muttering nonsense, sometimes calling for your father, sometimes for your mother, but no matter how hoarse your voice becomes. Noonians was, 3 of the boys who underwent the procedure with you have already died. Every time you see everybody carried away, you feel your own life hanging by a thread. On the evening of the 3rd day, in your confused state, you see a dark figure moving near your orb. You think it. See your mother coming to see you. So you have strength to grab their hand. Only when the person stumbles do realize, by the moonlight, they tit. Snow to your mother. Beauty eunuch making rounds, startled. The eunuch, quickly twists with disgust. He shakes off your hand roughly, and curses at you angrily, enthemed. Through sheer gritty determination, you pull through. When assignments are being handed out, you never expected that, just because you knew how to read a few characters, you would be selected to survey the Imperial Seal Office. This was an ordinary place. It was responsible for safeguarding the Imperial Seal. At first, you were overjoyed. The Imperial Seal Office seemed like an important department. Maybe the conditions will be better. But once you actually started working there, you realized the palace rules were endlessly complex. You had to step with your left foot first when walking, cover your mouth when sneezing, and even your breathing had to follow a specific rhythm. You tread carefully every day, afraid of breaking any palace regulation, yet despite your caution, you still could to avoid disaster. One day, while helping your master sundry scripture books, you curiously flip through pages of the Vatamsa Kasatra. Little did you know, this simply act would bring great misfortune. The chief eunuch, somehow learning of it, didn't Tevan Litau explain, before ordering his men to pine out a fairground, and whippu brutally wide the thick leatherlash. Afterward, you were punished. With cleaning the latrine buckets, in the bitter cold of winter, wearing only thin clothing. You shivered uncontrollably, your hands soak in freezing water, swelling you like it were addresses within moments. But, ya didn't, dare stop, because if you did, the supervising eunuch, Swip, would strike you again. You had no desire to experience the second time. As the days passed, you finally reached retirement-age. According to police rules, you could redeem treasure that had been taken from you during castration. When you found the knife handler, he immediately began haggling with thou, first asking for dozens of taels, then changing his demand to over 100 taels. After a lifetime of hard labor, most of your years spent in service, how could you possibly have that much money? You look at a thick knife handler, scried eyes, feeling both angry and helpless. Back home, you sat in your shabby room, staring at her empty lower body, and on sea gain, tears began to fall, hoping for some comfort after death. You carved a wooden replica, and placed it in your coffin, hoping to see the king of hell, praying that in your next life, you could live as a Holman, and not be half person again.